Hello, you're watching News Mongolia on MNB World, and I'm your host, Irtundalda Inhamoklan. For our top stories, Khovd Province focuses on enhancing oral health services. Major state-owned enterprises highlight their profitability. National Program for Mongolian Script 3rd approved by Cabinet. For other news, stay tuned. Home to a population of 90,000, Khovd Province is taking significant steps to enhance its dental health services. With 30,000 residents living in the central town of Khovd, the region faces challenges in addressing its residents' dental health needs, particularly among children.
The province has a substantial number of youth, with 11,000 children aged 0 to 18. Tooth decay is a widespread concern among this age group, underscoring the importance of preventive measures. Each year, around 10,000 children undergo preventive dental checkups, which are primarily organized in and around schools to maximize accessibility and efficiency. The central town is served by 8 dentists, while the entire province has 32 dentists. Efforts are underway to increase these numbers to meet the growing demand for dental care. Preventive checkups are a critical part of the province's strategy to combat high rates of tooth decay and promote oral health awareness among residents.
To ensure equitable access, children aged 0 to 16 and pregnant women receive dental service free of charge. Other residents benefit from services covered by social and health insurance programs, alleviating the financial burden on families.
By expanding dental services and prioritizing preventive care, Khovd Province is demonstrating a commitment to improving public health outcomes, particularly for its youngest residents.
The operational and financial performance of several state-owned enterprises, including Ertnes Tawantulga JCS, Ertnet Plant SOE, Mongol Rost Vetmet SOE, Miat SO JCS, and State Bank JCS, was presented to Cabinet during its session on January 2nd. These companies reported significant profitability, as outlined in their audited financial statements of the year-end of 2023. According to financial reports, the 5 enterprises operating in mining, civil aviation, banking, and finance generated a combined revenue of 15.3 trillion MNT. Their expenses amounted to 9.2 trillion MNT, resulting in a net profit of 4.5 trillion MNT. Mongolia's 122 state-owned and state-involved companies span multiple industries, including energy, transportation, agriculture, light industry, and tourism, collectively employing approximately 60,000 people. Audited reports revealed that these entities held 64.2 trillion MNT in assets, earned a combined income of 23.6 trillion MNT, and incurred 16.9 trillion MNT in expenses, achieving a net profit of 4.9 trillion MNT. 5 major enterprises, including Ertnes Tawantulga, Ertnet Plant, and State Bank, accounted for 4.75 trillion MNT in net profit. 51 other entities contributed the remaining 380 billion MNT. However, 43 state-owned enterprises recorded a collective loss of 150 billion MNT. The government has introduced legal reforms to address operational challenges and enhance productivity. The 2025 budget law incorporates amendments to the law on state and local property, emphasizing transparency, efficiency, and accountability for state-owned enterprises. An initial draft of legislation regarding state-owned and province-owned companies has also been developed to strengthen governance and oversight. These measures aim to ensure the sustainable growth of state-owned enterprises to strengthen Mongolia's economic development. As of January 2, 2025, Mongolia is poised to officially implement the dual use of Cyrillic and traditional Mongolian scripts in legal papers and official documents, a milestone achieved through the National Program for Mongolian Script 3rd.
Approved by the Cabinet in 2024, the national program has been instrumental in ensuring a smooth transition to dual script usage. The program's overarching goal is to integrate the traditional script into public and administrative life, preserving Mongolia's cultural heritage while meeting contemporary needs. Over the past 5 years, 56 targeted measures categorized under 4 primary objectives have been implemented, laying the groundwork for this significant cultural revival. These measures have included training initiatives, educational reforms, and technological adaptations to support the traditional script. With this program in full effect, Mongolia takes a historic step forward, blending tradition with modernity to enrich its national identity.
You're watching News Mongolia. Let's shift our attention to currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Now let's take a look at foreign news provided by our international partner news agencies. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Saturday Russian forces lost up to a battalion of infantry during battles in the Kursk region this week. Speaking in an evening address, Zelensky claimed the battalion included both North Korean soldiers and Russian paratroopers. We're already preparing for the upcoming meeting in Ramstein, U.S. Air Base in Germany, scheduled for this week. Dozens of partner countries will participate, including those capable of boosting our defense, not only against missiles, but also against guided bombs and Russian aircraft. We'll be discussing this with them and working to persuade them lives need protection here and now in Ukraine, and air defense systems must be operational for this purpose. The commander-in-chief also reported on the situation in the Kursk region. Specifically in battles today and yesterday near just one village, Makhnovka, in the Kursk region, the Russian army lost up to a battalion of infantry, including North Korean soldiers and Russian paratroopers.
He added the losses were predominantly during 2 days of fighting in the past week. Months after Ukraine's shock offensive in the Kursk region, Russia has been on the offensive, leaving Ukrainian troops bloodied and demoralized. Since being caught unaware by the lightning Ukrainian incursion, Russia has amassed more than 50,000 troops in the region, including some from its ally North Korea. Precise numbers are hard to obtain, but Moscow's counterattack has killed and wounded thousands, and overstretched Ukrainians have lost more than 40% of the 984 square kilometers of Kursk they seized in August. During his address, Zelensky also announced plans for meetings with international allies at the U.S. Air Base in Ramstein, Germany this week. He said the talks would focus on moves to strengthen Ukraine's air defenses.
U.S. President-elect Donald Trump made an appearance Saturday with Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, who was visiting his Mar-a-Lago club. Trump appeared at a screening of a documentary detailing challenges some conservative lawyers report facing in the legal system.
He entered the Grand Ballroom around 7 p.m. and then returned around 2 hours later after having dinner. The president-elect watched the screening of the documentary with Meloni and with his pick for the incoming administration Secretary of State, Florida Senator Marco Rubio, as well as Florida Republican Mike Waltz, Trump's choice for national security advisor. Meloni's visit comes after Italian journalist Cecilia Sala was detained by Iranian police while reporting in Tehran late last month. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden is set to travel to Rome to meet with Meloni as well as Pope Francis beginning Thursday.
Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz said on Sunday that if the Lebanese army doesn't deploy south of the Litani River, a ceasefire with Hezbollah will collapse and Israel will be forced to act on its own.
Katz spoke at the Northern Command after looking at a display of the weapons said by the military to have been seized by the IDF from Hezbollah in Lebanon.
Israel is interested in the implementation of the agreement in Lebanon and will continue to enforce it fully and without compromise to ensure the safe return of the residents of the north to their homes. But the first condition for the implementation of the agreement is the complete withdrawal of the terrorist organization Hezbollah beyond the Litani River, the dismantling of all weapons, and the thwarting of the terrorist infrastructure in the area by the Lebanese army, something that hasn't happened yet. If this condition is not met, there will be no agreement, and Israel will be forced to act on its own to ensure the safe return of the residents of the north to their homes. We will not allow the creation of a renewed threat to the northern communities and to the citizens of the State of Israel.
A fragile ceasefire between Israel and the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah has held up for over a month, even as its terms seem unlikely to be met by the agreed-upon deadline. The deal struck on November 27 to halt the war required Hezbollah to immediately lay down its arms in southern Lebanon and gave Israel 60 days to withdraw its forces there and hand over control of the Lebanese army and UN peacekeepers. So far, Israel has withdrawn from just 2 of the dozens of towns it holds in southern Lebanon, and it has continued striking what it says are bases belonging to Hezbollah, which it accuses of attempting to launch rockets and move weapons before they can be confiscated and destroyed. Hezbollah, which was severely diminished during nearly 14 months of war, has threatened to resume fighting if Israel doesn't fully withdraw its forces by the 60-day deadline. Hezbollah began firing rockets into Israel on October 8, 2023, the day after Hamas launched a deadly attack into Israel that ignited the ongoing war in Gaza. Since then, Israeli air and ground assaults have killed more than 4,000 people in Lebanon, including hundreds of civilians. At the height of the war, more than 1 million Lebanese people were displaced. Hezbollah rockets forced some 60,000 from their homes in northern Israel and killed 76 people in Israel, including 31 soldiers. Almost 50 Israeli soldiers were killed during operations inside Lebanon. Hezbollah has for the most part halted its rocket and drone fire into Israel, and Israel has stopped attacking Hezbollah in most areas of Lebanon. But Israel has launched regular air strikes in what it says are militant sites in southern Lebanon and in the Bekia Valley. Israeli forces have so far withdrawn from 2 towns in southern Lebanon, Hiam and Shama. They remain in some 60 others, according to the International Organization for Migration, and around 160,000 Lebanese remain displaced.
Now let's take a look at weather forecasts of the world's major cities and Mongolia's. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for staying with us. We'll see you tomorrow with more news and updates. Good night.